Holy friggin' cow. I love this thing. Oh my god. I can't even believe it. I, wow. I'm like actually in such shock right now with how much I love this movie. Wow. Um wow. Because of course, if you've been either reading or watching other reviews or even just keeping up with the Rotten Tomatoes score for this film, pretty much everyone is hating it. Like, everybody is trashing on this movie, not liking it for various reasons. And so I went into this with low expectations, which I was really sad about because when the year started, this was one of my most anticipated films of the year. The first trailer came out. I loved it. It got me so hyped. I thought it was great. But then all of these bad reviews started coming out, and I started to temper my expectations and started to really be worried and expecting to not like it. And honestly, I kind of just love when this happens because I personally put a lot into other people's reviews. So if other people really hype up a movie, I usually don't end up liking it as much. That's what happened with me with Deadpool and Wolverine. But then there's something like Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom or Shazam! Fury of the Gods, where everybody was trashing on those so hard. I mean, I still didn't love them, but I enjoyed them a whole hell of a lot more than I thought I would. And the same is the case here with Joker Folie Deux. This right here is art. Wow. Yeah. I think, like, to be fair, the only reason they made this movie was just because the first one made $1 billion. So they didn't have, like, a set concrete plan or idea because they never planned on doing a sequel. And I was assuming the whole time that, like, oh, it's not going to be, like, I may still like it, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as the first film, because I just rewatched the other day that first film for the first time since I saw it my first time watching. I didn't think it could top it. And, obviously I just finished watching the movie. And fun fact, this is actually, like, the first time I've actually ever recorded a review fresh out of the theater. Like, literally, I'm in the parking lot of the movie theater, so that may also be why you hear cars driving by and stuff. Sorry about that. But just because I could not wait to talk about this. I needed to get these thoughts out right now. Oh my god, this is just crazy. So let's talk about specifics with this film. Kind of just the general consensus, the good things that everybody kind of agrees on. That's very similar to the first film. Cinematography, great. This is beautiful. There's some amazing visuals and shots here in this movie, which we could already tell by the trailer, so that's great. The performances, of course, are fantastic. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for the first film. I doubt it'll happen again just because of the bad reception to this movie. And we know Lady Gaga was really, really hoping to get that Oscar here as well. I really enjoyed Lady Gaga, and I think all of the performances across the board were fantastic. But I think Joaquin Phoenix was still better. But yeah, everybody was great here. Brendan Gleeson was great. Who else was even in this? Whoever the guy was that played Harvey Dent and the judge and all these different characters were great. Fantastic. It's also hard to talk about without spoilers. Yeah. Now I will say probably the big elephant in the room though, is that this movie is a musical, which was one of the things I was most concerned going into this, because when they first announced that was going to be a thing, this movie was a musical, I was really excited because I was like, okay, first of all, that's just a really cool, unique idea that can make this really different. And also, I love musicals, and I figured, like, that's a great way to go about telling the story of Joker and his love story with Harley Quinn and how they fall in love. And just because of the mental insanity that's going on here, all this fantasy in their heads, a musical is a great way to tell that story. But then they started coming out with like people that actually worked on the movie saying, oh, this isn't a musical. And like they just kept going back on it. And that was one of the biggest things I saw in reviews that I read for this film before I saw it myself, was that they didn't commit to the musical element enough. And that supposedly the songs, you know, in a good musical, the songs help propel the story forward. They tell the characters' feelings and emotions. And from what I read about this film, supposedly the musicals just stopped the story dead in its tracks and felt abrupt and out of nowhere and so random, and they added nothing, and it would have been a better movie without them. Well, I have to say I 100% completely disagree with that, because I love the musical sequences here. I was especially concerned because it's a jukebox musical, which for those who don't know basically means that they're not original songs. They're all songs like That's Life and All the World Needs Now Is Love and popular songs. So I was really concerned, like, oh, are they really just going to be completely random songs? But no, these songs were all felt very specifically chosen and felt perfect for the moment and perfectly communicated that character's thoughts and feelings in the moment. I loved it. It was great. And it's not big and flashy like a lot of musicals are, which I didn't necessarily need. Like, there's some smaller sequences where it's literally just them standing there singing, which, I mean, that was a little less entertaining, especially if I didn't know the song myself, but you still felt the emotion that came with the song. And really, my biggest takeaway from watching this film and seeing everybody else's reaction to it is that people aren't getting the message of this movie, because Joker Folie Deux was made to make a statement that people love sensationalism and they don't really care about mental illness. That's what this movie is about. That's what it has to say, and it's a powerful message. Because all these people saying this movie was boring and there wasn't enough going on and it feels like nothing happened and it was pointless. That's just because you didn't care enough. I mean, I don't want to be rude. And that's, to be fair, just my takeaway. You know, I'm just a reviewer myself. This is just completely my own opinion on this film. But I personally really loved the way things were done in this movie. I thought it was great. It's been a long time since I've sat down in a movie theater and been this entertained and so enthralled with the story. Again, I'm just as surprised as you are. It was insane. And I loved it. It was just so fun. And from a comic book standpoint, that's another thing where I think it also comes into play here, is the first Joker movie, I think for the most part, is held as like, yes, it's a really good movie, but there's still a large population that doesn't like that movie. And I think a big portion of that is potentially comic book fans who went into that movie and said, oh, Arthur Fleck, who's this guy? He's not the Joker. And who aren't really like willing to allow that artistic creativity and artistic license with this film. And that's what they take even more creative license here, especially with the story between Joker and Harley Quinn. There's some twists and there's some turns here, but things I really enjoyed. And another big thing people are talking about is the ending of this movie. I again, no spoilers obviously, but I will say there is a very big choice that is made to end this film, and it does come very much out of nowhere. In a way, there's one slight little tease and foreshadowing that I saw earlier in the film, and in the moment I was like, what is the emphasis on this thing? I won't say what, but why is that important? And then forgot about it for a while, and then the thing came back into play in the final scene, and I was like, oh my god, everybody's gonna hate this, and I know exactly why. But I loved it. And I can't wait to explain why in my spoiler review. Like, legitimately, I'm so excited about this, to talk about this. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been this excited to talk about a film because this movie is so divisive. I'm excited, guys. If you have seen the film for yourself, please no spoilers in the comments, because there's some big spoilers in play here. And, if you didn't like it, let me know without spoilers in the comments. Save those spoiler thoughts for the spoiler review, which should be out very soon, because like I said, I'm very excited to get to that. Possibly even today. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, big choices are made. I will say, if I have to give one minor gripe to it, I will say the Harley Quinn storyline, the ending to it didn't feel as satisfying as I wish it was, and it didn't exactly go where I thought it would, but I'm still fine with it. This is also very much still a Joker film. This is a sequel to Joker. It's not, he and Harley are not co-leads. Lady Gaga still has a large role to play, but it's still very much Joker 2. And yeah. Wow. I really enjoyed this movie. And I really hope you guys are able to as well. Like I said, of course, this is just my personal opinion. This is just my experience with the film. I had a lot of moments where I just had a smile on my face, where I was like, oh my god, that is the Joker from the comics. Or just, oh, this is such a cool moment. That looks so cool. That's such a cool character. I laughed out loud at moments as well. It was great. I enjoyed it. I should probably stop rambling, save some more thoughts for the spoiler review. So, of course, stay tuned for that. But, guys, again, non-spoilers, what did you think about Joker Folie Deux? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, again, without spoilers. And stay tuned for that spoiler review coming soon. So, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I keep up to date on everything that goes on in the DC life.